This is the spoiler-filled review for Season 3. If you don't want spoilers, then don't watch it. I'm going to be talking about everything. Okay. This season was absolutely horrible. I am infuriated by this season. This was a slog to get through. Alright, well, it didn't even start out all that strong, and it just progressively got worse as it went on. The main issue was there were way too many plot lines to keep track of. You have the conspiracy storyline with Nancy and Jonathan, and then you have the storyline about the Russians, and then you have the relationship drama between Elle and Mike, and then you have the relationship drama between Hopper and Byers, whatever her name is. Hopper and whatever her name is. I forget their names. And then you have like the annoying sister, Lucas's annoying sister Erica, who I thought was annoying and needed a good spanking because she was just so rude. I don't know why they feel the need to make little kid characters sassy and rude and then portray it as funny. It's never funny to me. I just think it's rude. I'm just like, shut up. So, and then you had like the constant bickering between Hopper and Joyce, that's her name. Yeah, the constant bickering between Hopper and Joyce, and that was annoying. Now, the difference between something like Star Wars, where it's Han and Leia bickering, and something like this, is that with Han and Leia, there's insults being thrown around that are actually kind of funny, like scruffy-looking nerf herder and your worshipfulness and laser brain also, but this was just them arguing and yelling, and it wasn't funny, it was just awkward to watch. I hated it. When the Russian translator guy, whose name I can't remember, went in there and was just like, you two just need to shut up and kiss already. I was like, thank you for saying what I have been saying for the past 3 episodes. And yeah. Then they're like, I'm sure there are other plot lines I'm forgetting, but there were so many, and it just was not very well constructed narratively. It just kept jumping from one thing to the other. It was just kind of a mess. They could have squeezed another 2 or 3 seasons worth of storyline out of all the storylines they squeezed into this one season. It was ridiculous. And then the other stuff I didn't like, it just didn't feel like Stranger Things. It didn't have the supernatural element that the first 2 seasons had. This focused more on the Russians. Now, I understand that, yes, the Cold War was an important part of the 80s. I get that. But all the supernatural stuff that people watch Stranger Things for took a back seat to this. It just was not pleasant to watch. And I'm very squeamish, so I don't like torture scenes. So when that happened, I was like, like, I've never covered my eyes watching this show, but it happened. That plus, all the rats exploding and all that stuff, was like, the gore level on this show is pushing the TV-14 rating a lot. Throw in, one more F-bomb, it'll be a TVMA, but, what are you going to do? This seemed a little bit too much of a different direction from the first 2 seasons, and I did not enjoy watching it. The other thing I didn't like, all these storylines, none of them really even lead up to anything. Because then you have, Hopper and Joyce bickering, and you think, oh, well, they're going to end up together at the end. No, Hopper dies. And then you have Elle and Mike. Nope, Elle moves away. So that storyline goes nowhere. And then you have Steve and Robin, and then it turns out Robin is gay, and so that ends up not going anywhere either. And they just did that for the sake of virtue signaling to please the left. They did that, because it was completely unnecessary. And it's like, what are they going to do? It's almost the last episode. They're going to stop watching the show. Yeah. Now, they said when this was coming out, this was going to be the last season. But there's a thing after the credits that sets up that there's probably going to be a season 4, which makes sense, I guess, because Netflix is on kind of a life support right now, because they're losing so many subscribers because they keep making so many bad decisions with the programming they make, and they keep putting millions and millions of dollars into programming that doesn't have enough financial gain. So they know Stranger Things is their bread and butter, and it's going to keep them afloat. But I personally will not be watching season 4. I'm done with the show. This was a terrible way to end the season. I don't watch Game of Thrones, but based on people's reaction to how Game of Thrones ended, it was probably pretty similar. I forget what show it was that people complained that the ending just kind of faded to black after playing Don't Stop Believing. That's what this felt like. You know, because like Hopper dies and then it fades to black. I'm like, okay, well it's over now. And then it's like, nope, now we have, another 30 minutes of wrapping it up. I'm like, Return of the King was excessive in the way it tried to wrap things up. This was too. It was like, dude, needs to end already. I'm done with this episode. Just please. This episode's almost 2 hours long, and the last half hour of it is just wrapping stuff up. It was not a pleasant experience to watch. It was a slog to get through. I did not enjoy this season. I will not be watching season 4. Now, the supernatural stuff it did pretty well, but there was so little of that. The times where it, had to do with the monster and everything going on, that was well done. But again, there was so little of it. It felt like a completely different show. It felt like I was watching a historical drama on the Cold War and the Russians, more than I was watching a show about monsters and kids fighting monsters, which is what I watched the show for. It did not satisfy me as a fan. I know I'm probably in the minority because I haven't really heard anybody say anything bad about this season, which surprised me because I didn't like this season. I thought it was the worst season ever. And those are my thoughts. I just was not pleased with the way the season turned out. I will not be watching season 4.